Hola! We're going to be talking about equal and unequal comparisons. Some of this should be pretty easy, kind of a reminder from Spanish 1, but some of it is new and is actually pretty complicated. So, more than or less than are the general comparisons we use for unequal comparisons. Hopefully you remember that more than is always más que with an accent, and less than is always menos que. So if you wanted to say, I am faster than you, what you are actually saying is, I am more fast than you. So you would say, yo soy más rápida, because I'm a girl, que tú, which is probably not true. I am probably slower than all of you. I like running less than doing Zumba. Me gusta correr menos que hacer Zumba. So those are pretty easy. Más que or menos que. It doesn't matter if we are comparing nouns, verbs, adjectives. It's going to be más que or menos que. There are a few things you have to keep in mind. So remember, you cannot say more old than. You have to say mayor que. And you cannot say more young than. You have to say menor que. You cannot say more good than. You have to say better than, which is mejor que. And you cannot say more bad than. You have to say worse than, which is peor que. So one exception is if you are comparing something and a number comes right after, you actually don't say que, you say de. So if you wanted to say, for example, I have less than 3 sisters, tengo menos de 3 hermanas, because what comes right after it is a number, so it has to be de instead of que. So there are some new things that we have to keep in mind if you are comparing clauses. So hopefully you remember from Spanish 3 that a clause means that it has a subject and a verb. So if whatever you're comparing, if the thing that comes after has a conjugated verb, that means that it has a subject and a verb, you're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to do más or menos, de, a definite article, and que. So I have less free time than I need. Here I have a subject and a verb. So whatever I'm comparing, I have a subject and verb that comes after it. So I have to use this formula. Tengo menos tiempo libre. So menos tiempo libre, then I'm going to have de, then I'm going to have a definite article. So remember, our definite articles are el, la, los, or las. And how do I decide? Here I have this noun, tiempo. This is masculine and singular, so I'm going to use that article, el, que, and then I need. So conjugated verb means I have to use this little formula. So tengo menos tiempo libre de el que necesito. You all have more homework than you want. Ustedes tienen más tarea. So you want, I'm going to have a conjugated verb. Tarea is singular and feminine, so it's going to be de, and then it's going to be la, because it's singular and feminine. Que, you want. Quieren. So de el que or de la que, and then your conjugated verb. I bought fewer books than I normally buy. Compré menos libros. So I buy, I have a conjugated verb. I'm going to have de. Libros is plural and masculine, so it's going to be los. Compré menos libros de los que normalmente compro. Okay, one more thing we have to keep in mind. I am better at math than I thought. So, soy mejor en las matemáticas de. So, how do we decide what article is going to go here? I'm not actually comparing math. I'm comparing this idea of being better at math than I thought I was. I'm not comparing the math itself. I'm comparing an idea. So if I'm comparing an idea, I have to use what's called a neuter article, which is lo. A neuter article just means that it doesn't have a sex. So lo is what we use in circumstances where we're comparing an idea and not an actual thing. So soy mejor en las matemáticas de lo que I thought. Pensaba. So if you have a conjugated verb that comes after what you're comparing, de los que, de lo que, de el que, de la que, depending on what you're comparing. Okay, equal comparisons. Hopefully you remember, again, from Spanish 1 or 2, it's usually some form of tan or tantos or something, como. But it changes depending on what you're comparing. So, for example, here, if we're comparing an adjective, it's going to be tan, adjective, como. For example, Ginny is as brave as Harry, which is totally true. Ginny es tan valiente como Harry. So tan, adjective, como. If we are comparing verbs, we're going to do it a little differently. It's going to be tanto como, and there's going to be nothing in between. They're always going to go together. So, for example, I hate spiders as much as Ron hates spiders. So I'm not comparing spiders, I'm comparing the hate. I'm comparing a verb, so I'm going to use tanto como. So, odio las arañas tanto como Ron. I hate spiders as much as Ron hates spiders. I'm comparing this verb, so it's going to be tanto como. If I'm comparing nouns, then it's going to have to match in number and gender with whatever I'm talking about. So it could be tanto or tanta or tantos or tantas, como. Whatever your noun is goes here. It has to match in number and gender. So for example, I have as many apples as oranges. Tengo tantas manzanas como naranjas. Tantas has to be feminine and plural because manzanas is feminine and plural. I score as many points as Rod, which is totally not true. Any game we play together, I always win, but don't tell him I said that. So, hago tantos puntos como Rod. Tantos has to be masculine and plural because puntos is masculine and plural. Okay, so now we're going to practice with unequal comparisons. In this first one, we're going to decide whether we're going to use que or de. So, la impresora barata era mejor, something la cara. The cheap printer was better than the expensive one. So, we're going to use mejor que because better than is mejor que. Y valía menos, something $100. Here we have a number. So, remember, if you have a number that comes right after it, then it's going to be de. You can't use que. It cost less than $100. More than 500 people came to the event. We have a number right here, so we cannot use que. It has to be de. Más de 500 personas asistieron al evento. Many more than we expected. So here we have a conjugated verb, which comes after whatever we're comparing. So remember, we have to do más or menos de lo, la, las, los, or el, que esperábamos. Hace más, something media hora. Media hora is actually considered a number because it's a half hour, so it's a quantity. So, hace más de media hora que llegué. Por la lluvia estaba más mojada, something un pez. So, because of the rain, I was more wet than a fish. I'm comparing an adjective, so more wet than a fish. Hubo más víctimas, something las que informó. Here we have a conjugated verb that's coming after whatever we're comparing, so it has to be de, because remember, it's más o menos de, article que. Informó el gobierno y menos ayuda, something el año pasado. Less help than the year before, it's going to be que. Okay, equal comparisons. Here we're going to decide whether we're going to use tan, tanto como, or tantos, tantas como. Mi hermano mayor hizo something viajes en su juventud. Viajes is a noun, and it is a plural masculine noun, so I'm going to say tantos. And then it's always como, with tan or tantos or whatever, it's always como. So, mi hermano mayor hizo tantos viajes en su juventud como yo ahora. El hijo mejor de José no juega con something frecuencia. Frecuencia is a noun, which means I'm going to have to do a feminine and singular version because frecuencia is feminine and singular, and again, it's always como. So, no juega con tanta frecuencia como el mayor. Él habla something idiomas. Idiomas is a noun, and it is actually a masculine noun even though it looks feminine. So it is masculine and plural. So we need to use the masculine and plural form. So ella habla tantos idiomas, and then it's always como su hermano. Vivía something tranquila y plácidamente. Here we are comparing an adverb, which actually is the same as when we're comparing adjectives. So we're going to use tan como. Vivía tan tranquila y plácidamente como cualquiera podría desear. Okay, let me know if you have questions. Gracias.